retirement villages to be built on Prima's land. UK variant may be more deadly. Good afternoon, thanks for joining us, and you're watching Updates at Noon. I'm Jessica Lee. The government has decided to develop retirement villages on land belonging to Perbadanan Prima Malaysia, or Prima, focusing on landed and low-rise concept. Now, Housing and Local Government Minister Zuraida Kamarudin said the establishment of the villages was a new business model adopted by Prima so as to provide a well-facilitated, well-equipped and sophisticated infrastructure for senior citizens. Explaining further, Zuraida said Prima would come up with the model concept and collaborate with strategic partners in order to realise the initiative. She also said that Prima is currently drafting a policy that will emphasise on the important elements that can benefit the lives of the senior citizens.
This policy will address all the fundamental elements that are needed for senior citizens to live in a harmonious environment with adequate health facilities. Prima will collaborate with strategic partners to develop several retirement villages on the land Prima already owns in the near future.
Speaking at the Malaysian Population Ageing Forum, she said a few strategic locations had been identified for the proposed retirement villages, which are likely to be ready in 2023. Now, Malaysia will receive medical equipment worth about 19 million ringgit from Japan following the signing of exchange of notes for the provision of medical equipment in a virtual ceremony yesterday. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Adham Baba expressed his appreciation to the government of Japan for the generous assistance to Malaysia under Japan's grant aid. Now, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said the contribution will help in strengthening the preparedness and response capacity in the Health Ministry facilities. He added that it will also assist in the efforts to treat and save lives during the pandemic. The minister expressed hope that the bilateral cooperation between both countries' healthcare and other sectors will continue to be strengthened as they battle against the global pandemic. At the ceremony, Japan was represented by its ambassador to Malaysia, Hiroshi Oka. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry has established 213 COVID-19 assessment centres, or CAC, nationwide, which will classify patients' level of infection so as to determine the next course of action in managing them, including approval to undergo treatment at home. Now, Datuk Sri Dr. Adham said each district would have at least one CAC depending on the number of patients being managed in the area. In a statement, the minister said the centre's role is to identify patients who are suited for home monitoring, and its staff will monitor and evaluate their progress using home assessment tools. Now, in addition, the CAC would also identify patients who need to be sent to COVID-19 quarantine and low-risk treatment centres, PKRC, or hospitals, including categories 1 and 2 patients who are not suitable for home treatment. Datuk Sri Dr. Adham also said each CAC would be headed by a coordinator at the district level, adding that those who need to contact the centre can do so through telephone numbers provided by their respective health office. Another 12 new COVID-19 clusters were reported yesterday involving Johor, Selangor, Sabah, Pahang, Malacca, Labuan and Kuala Lumpur. Now, Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah said these clusters have registered a total of 365 positive cases so far. In a release statement, he said 3 clusters in Johor were related to infections at workplaces, namely the Jalan Indah Gemilang cluster, Jalan Pewira cluster and Selasih Perindu cluster. Other workplace clusters include Jalan Sungai Chandong cluster in Selangor, Jalan Kinabenua cluster in Labuan, Ladang Desa Jeroko cluster in Sabah and Kampung Paya Siput cluster in Pahang. The Health Ministry also detected community clusters involving Serkam Tengah cluster in Malacca and Tanjung Lumpur cluster in Pahang. Another cluster is related to positive cases at a detention centre, which is the Tembok Renggam cluster in Johor. As for the remaining two clusters, they are the Putra Tujoh cluster in Putrajaya and Selangor, as well as Jalan Skudai cluster in Johor. Now, all teachers nationwide are allowed to use various initiatives in implementing the home-based teaching and learning, or PDPR, apart from the use of gadgets and digital devices. Education Director General Datuk Dr. Habibah Abdul Rahim said this kind of initiative was vital in order to ensure that students without devices or internet access are not falling behind in their studies. Datuk Dr. Habibah said she acknowledged that several issues have arisen in implementing the PDPR, including in terms of the use of technology. However, she expressed confidence with the teachers' ability and creativity to conduct the home-based teaching and learning using other approaches, including the hybrid method. Concerned with the difficulties, Datuk Dr. Habibah said the Education Ministry had also expanded the implementation of educational television program TV Pendidikan through other TV stations. She said TV Pendidikan would run for 9 hours daily from Mondays to Fridays and would be broadcast on OK TV and several other channels. Malaysian Armed Forces Veterans Affairs Department JHEV ATM has assured that its service delivery system will not be affected by the recent emergency proclamation. The department said all ATM veteran-related affairs, including the distribution of welfare assistance, retirement and medical benefits management, would run as usual while complying with the standard operating procedures or SOPs of the Movement Control Order MCO. In a statement, JHEV ATM said the veterans understand the need to proclaim emergency and will carry out their responsibilities as enshrined in the Federal Constitution, according to the value that they hold strongly, instilled during and after leaving the service. It explained that a state of emergency can enhance the effectiveness of the MCO implementation in containing the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. The department also believed that the move will ensure stability, safeguard the people's well-being, and enable the government to remain focused on efforts to restore the economy. The government's decision to allow eateries to operate until 10 p.m. will alleviate some of the severe challenges faced by businesses since the implementation of the Movement Control Order, or MCO. Now, according to Malaysian Employers Federation, MEF President Datuk Dr. Syed Hussein Syed Husman, various premise owners, especially restaurant operators, welcome the decision to extend the operating hours, as many of them were facing massive losses due to the lack of customers. In a release statement, he said with the drastic drop in the number of customers during the MCO period, restaurant operators were desperately struggling to meet their cost of operations, including rental, salaries, loan repayments and utility costs. As such, Datuk Dr. Syed Hussein expressed deep appreciation to the government for its continual interventions to fine-tune the delicate balance between saving lives and livelihoods. He also reminded employers to strictly comply with the SOPs and continue to be committed to curb the spread of COVID-19. The Pulau Pinang Police seized a total of 142 boxes of illicit cigarettes worth more than 1 million ringgit on Thursday. Internal Security and Public Order Department Sector or Director Datuk Sri Abdul Rahim Jaafar said the police also detained 3 local men aged between 31 and 40 in a series of raids at 5 separate locations near Georgetown. Explaining further, he said the operations were conducted as a result of public tip-offs and police intelligence work. He said they believed that the cigarettes were meant for the local markets in the northern part of Peninsular Malaysia. Police also seized 8 vehicles and about 1 million ringgit in cash, apart from finding 2 wild animals, including a beaver and a bird, at one of the houses being raided. All of the seized items, including tags, were worth more than 2 million ringgit. The case is being investigated under Section 135, Subsection 1D of the Customs Act 1967. The Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Department, or MAKIS, has seized 125 sacks of medicinal herbs from Indonesia, weighing 3,175 kilograms at a warehouse in Butterworth, Pulau Pinang. Now, State MAKIS Director Zarina Ramli said the herbs were estimated to be worth more than 61,200 ringgit. Explaining further, she said the seizure was made due to the failure to comply with the standards set in the conditions of a valid import permit. The case is being investigated under Section 15, Subsection 1 of the Malaysian Quarantine and Inspection Services Act 2011, which carries a fine not exceeding 100,000 ringgit, imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 years, or both if found guilty. She added that MAKIS is giving serious attention to issues involving food safety, disease control and the risk of pests that could threaten the country's agricultural industry. Chia Yisi pulled off a stunner against world number 8 Hafiz Faizal and Gloria Emmanuel Wijaja in the quarterfinals of the Toyota Thailand Open in Bangkok yesterday. The duo, ranked 35th in the world, took 68 minutes to secure a 12-21, 21-19, 21-19 victory against the 6th-seeded pair from Indonesia at the Impact Arena.
Actually, there's no secret, no much secret, but just to keep ourselves calm and then keep motivating each other and then just do our best and go all out. That's all. Yeah.
Pang Ron and Yisi will meet world number 6 and the tournament's 4th-seeded pair, Seung Sung Jae, Choi Yu Jung of South Korea, in the semi-finals today. While Pang Ron and Yisi were jumping for joy, it was the end of the road for the country's top pair and 2016 Rio Olympic Games silver medalists Chan Ping Soon, Goh Liu Ying. They lost 21-18, 22-24, 20-22 in a neck-to-neck thriller to unseeded India's Satvik Sairaj Ranki Reddy and Ashwini Ponappa in a match that lasted for 1 hour and 15 minutes. The integrity of Malaysian referees continues to gain international recognition when 19 individuals were selected as match officials of World Football governing body FIFA this year. The Football Association of Malaysia, or FAM, said they comprise 5 referees, 9 assistant referees, including a woman, 3 futsal referees and 2 beach football referees. In a statement, FAM said one of the selected referees was Muhammad Amirul Izwan Yaakob, who has been a FIFA referee since 2012, apart from Muhammad Nazmi Nasruddin, Suhaizi Sukri, Razlan Jofri Ali and Tuan Muhammad Yassin Tuan Muhammad Hanafia. As for the 9 assistant referees, they include Muhammad Yusri Muhammad, Muhammad Muazzi Zainal Abidin, Muhammad Sharin Che Omar, as well as a female assistant referee, Nur Akmal Anwar. The 3 futsal referees are Hilde Idang, Muhammad Rizwan Rosali and Muhammad Nur Effendi Nur Hayalan, while the 2 beach football referees are Suhaimi Mat Hassan and one Muhammad Tarmizi, one Ibrahim. Meanwhile, Muhammad Amirul Izwan had also been commissioned to be appointed as Video Match Official, or VMO, while Muhammad Yusri had been named as an assistant referee for matches involving Video Assistant Referee, or VAR. Our top story, retirement villages to be built on Prima's land. Tune in to news at 10, coming up at 10 p.m. on Saluran Berita RTM on My Freeviews channel 123. You can also stream the news by surfing RTM's My Click. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Jessica Lee. Stay tuned to TV2.